Mancala, the counting game. Mancala is a type of board game that is played all over the world. It can be called Bao, Owale, Adi, or Ayo. It has hundreds of names. People have been playing Mancala for thousands of years. It is believed to have started in ancient Egypt. Mancala can be played using pits dug into the dirt, or it can be played on a fancy board. There are hundreds of ways to play Mancala. Let's start with a simple version. Start with 3 stones in each of the small pits on the Mancala board. The players sit with the board between them. Pretend that there is a wall between the 2 sides. Player 1 only picks up stones on his side of the board. Player 2 only picks up stones on her side of the board. Player 1 moves his stones towards his home. We've marked it with a dot closer to him. Player 2 moves her stones towards her home. We've marked it with a dot closer to her. Player 1 is trying to get more stones in his home. Player 2 is trying to get more stones in her home. Player 1 has 3 stones in each small pit on his side. Player 2 has 3 stones in each small pit on her side. Player 1 picks up all of the stones out of one of the pits on his side. He is going to move them towards his home. Player 1 does not put a stone back into that pit. Instead, he drops 1 stone per pit moving towards his home. Player 2 picks up all of the stones from one of her pits. She does not put one back into that pit. She drops 1 stone in each of her pits as she moves towards her home. Player 1 takes the next turn. 1, 2, 3. Player 2 picks up all 4 stones from one of her pits and moves them towards her home. The last stone in her hand lands in her home, so she gets to take another turn. Player 2 takes her extra turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Player 1 picks up all 4 stones from a pit on his side. He has 2 stones left, so he wraps around the corner and drops them into the pits that belong to Player 2. Player 2 must also wrap around the corner in order to drop her stones into her opponent's pits. Player 1 takes his turn. He must wrap around the corner. Player 2 takes her turn. The last stone lands in an empty pit on her opponent's side, but nothing happens. Player 1 takes his turn. Player 2 sees an opportunity to capture. She decides how many stones she needs so that the last stone in her hand will land in the empty pit. She makes her move. 1, 2, 3. The last stone in her hand has landed in one of her empty pits. She gets to capture the stones in the pits on the other side and put them into her home. Player 1 takes his turn. He sees an opportunity for a capture. The last stone in his hand lands in one of his empty pits. He captures the stones in his opponent's pit and puts them into his home. Player 2 takes her turn. If she had enough stones to go all the way around, she would skip her opponent's home. Player 1 sees an opportunity to take an extra turn. Player 1 takes his extra turn. Player 2 moves but forgets to take her extra turn. Oh well, too bad. You can't go back. Player 1 is going to do a run, which means he's going to take several turns in a row. Go again. And again. And yet again. He ends his long run with a capture. Player 2 sees an opportunity for a capture. Player 1 fights back with another capture. Player 2 moves with a wraparound. Player 1 moves. Player 2 moves. Player 1 sees an opportunity for extra moves. Player 2 wraps around. Player 1 is going to do a run. 1 in, 2 in, 3 in, 4 in. Player 1 makes the last move of his run. Player 2 forgets to capture. Oh well, no going back. Player 1 sees an opportunity for extra turns. Player 2 moves the last piece on her side. The game is over because one side is empty. All of the pieces still left in the small pits will go to her home. However, the game is won by the player who has the most stones in the home pit. Player 1 puts his stones back and he still has 3 stones left in his home. Player 2 puts all of her stones back into her pits, and she's 3 stones short. Player 1 has more stones. Player 1 wins the game. Make your own Mancala board at home. Just use an egg carton and some pieces of cereal.